Okay, so before we go anything, so you will be given a ticket during the panel, which you can then redeem. Hold on, I can show you. For an exclusive limited edition poster, which is like embossed. Yeah. And this is you can get that once you get your ticket, and after the panel, you can go over to the program premium room at the Grand Hyatt and pick up your version, your copy of it. So don't forget that. And also, just a reminder that all episodes drop on August 1st on Prime Video, so you can binge away. And now let's start talking about this show. Mr. Matt Reeves, there's an entire generation that fell in love with Batman the Animated Series. And for the longest time, we've kind of been hoping for something that followed through with that. And this does definitely feel like a spiritual sequel to that. What was Bruce Timm's pitch? What did you hear from him?
Well, I mean, I think the thing about it, I think everybody here probably, I know I am, and JJ is, we were huge fans of Batman the Animated Series, and I think that he kind of resisted the idea of going back to it because it kind of had become so legendary, and then he suddenly had this idea that he wanted to revisit it, and it had kind of been gnawing at him, and he sort of said that James Tucker kind of really got through to him and said, I think we should think about this. And so I actually asked her, Bruce is incredible, and so is James, and so is Ed Brubaker, who worked on the show, our wonderful cast. I just said, listen, Bruce, you should be there, and he couldn't be here, so I just said, do me a favor, write to me what it is that you want to make sure that I say. So this is what he said. He said, sometimes I think back to the first meeting that I had with you and JJ. I pitched the concept for the new show as being a mix of Universal horror films, Warner Brothers gangster movies, and Republic serials with an extra scoop of film noir and German expressionism on top. And then you both lit right up, and I remember one of you guys, I think it was you, saying, oh man, you're playing our song. And he said that was one of my favorite moments doing this show, and of my whole career, actually. He said, now whether or not we succeeded in getting the correct proportions of all those ingredients mixed together properly for the new Batman show, it's not for me to say, but I can say that the first 10 episodes are pretty dang close to the show that I had in mind. And I think he's done an incredible job. It's really good.
And I also appreciate the first 10 episodes.
Yeah. Oh,
because we are clearly...
Yes, we're doing a second season.
Yes, the second season already.
And as you were saying, I think the thing that's so exciting, you see from the first episode, like the standalones of introducing each of these different Rose Gallery characters and the way that it works and the way it interacts with Batman and this take on Batman, which Bruce describes not as year one or like sort of my movie was year two. He says it's more like week two. And it's like very, very early. But what's so interesting, as you say, about the narrative, I find, is the way that it builds. So from episode to episode, you're introduced to, characters that we've really never seen before. You've got Onomatopoeia and a gentleman ghost, like some very unusual characters. But then as that builds, the sweep of it, there's actually a narrative along that builds all the way to the end of the season as well. So it's not just standalone, which it has an aspect to, but there's a great kind of epic sort of sweep to it. And that, in terms of leading into season 2, I think is part of the excitement.
So kind of like a war is coming kind of thing.
Kind of like a war is coming.
Okay, all right. There are some creative choices that Bruce Timm has made with these characters, and that is always risky. Because you comic fans, Bat fans, they know what they love what they love, and what were those conversations like?
Well, I think, it's interesting, because you can see, obviously, you guys have seen the show and the trailer, and obviously, he's very drawn to, he wanted it to be a spiritual cousin to BTAS, but he also felt that it was important, he wanted to be kind of like in the golden era of Batman aesthetically. So it has very much that look, the bat suit and the way all of it looks, but he wanted it to be in today's world. So the idea of that kind of collision that would make it timeless, that it feels like it's like the 40s, and yet it also looks like our world. And to me, I think, I tried to do that when I did Batman, and I think that, each time you do, when you look at what different iterations of the comics are, the authors always bring something to it, which is to take something about it that is sort of mythic, iconic, the things that people love, and then find a way to make it new. And I think what's exciting about what Bruce wanted to do is it was a way to sort of bring this into today's world. So that's what I tried to do in my movie too, which is to do it in a way where Gotham feels like, even though it feels like it's it's this fictional place, it's a place that we can relate to. And so I think in terms of the changes he made, some of which are very, very bold, and you've already seen like Penguin as a woman, like all really, really cool stuff. And I think the fact that he wanted to be bold and to do that, JJ and I, that was very exciting to us, and we completely supported him wanting to do that.
I gotta say, Penguin as a woman is, I love this idea because the Rogues Gallery is kind of short on female villains. We got a couple. But to get like one of the top tier villains as a woman is so cool. Because again, it takes us into that place of like, how is he going to fight this? He has to, like, this is evil, and you said, she is evil.
You are evil.
I want to know what villains are not in the top 10. Only joking, putting you on the spot. Don't worry. Listen, I know that there will be purists who will always want the Penguin to be a bloke, as we would say. But we have to understand that the fundament of the Penguin is evil. The fundament, the essence of the Penguin is the essence of the Penguin, in the same way that the essence of Batman is the essence of Batman. And we come in, if we're lucky enough to be invited onto the stage, to inhabit these characters that already exist. They already exist in the ether, and we just sort of rise up to meet them. And this was such a beautiful retelling of that villain. It was joyful, and I mean, she's dreadful.
Is that what, for all three of you, is that what attracted you to these roles, to take this job? Because these are different takes on them.
Great question. No, I wanted... I love the original series so very much, and I love Kevin Conroy so very much. And in auditioning for this, that was the sort of vibration that I had in the back of my head. And as I did take after 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 take, I kept wondering, when is it going to sound right when I play it back? And eventually I had to just get as close as possible and send it out. I wasn't trying to copy him, but I was trying to honor the Batman that he gave us all. So.
And can I say, I really think, obviously Kevin Conroy is a legend, but I really think already in my view, I feel like you've entered the pantheon. I mean, you guys will see when you see the whole series, but it's a really beautiful performance for Batman. Okay. It's very, very, I can say that because you can't, so I just want to...
Right. Well, I can say it also because, so I've covered Hamish's career since like Old Christine, and also, I still hold to, in my mind, his Emmy-winning performance in Midnight Mass. Extraordinary. And watching it, I was so proud of you. I was like, he's killing it. It's Batman. This is so great.
Thanks, Dad.
And then Jamie, who again, also I think you've been covering your stuff ever since the beginning, and you're working Gotham, which we had to remind you of yesterday. But what is your Harley Quinn like?
She's got Asian American first generation trauma. No, that's true. And I just love that, I love that, the team decided to kind of flip the script. Instead of, we've seen this Harley Quinn, Arlene Sorkin, big ups, she's a legend, But I love that we brought that energy and the bubbly, fun energy to her psychiatry work. And, taking mental receipts and then using that to torment her clients, eventually. So she's a vigilante, and I love that, when you do see Harley Quinn, you'll see that she is pretty different then.
I also got the vibe that she's kind of into Bruce.
Bruce is hot. Yeah, she's totally into him, but I think the mystery, he's a mysterious man. She just wants to get inside.
Yeah, there's a scene, there's a bit in one of the episodes later in where he's boxing. And have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in like these high-waisted briefs boxing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, if this was live action, that would be memed. That would 100% be memed. So this, Batman has been imagined so many times. What can you tell us we will see of this character?
Well, I mean, I think, what was really important to Bruce and to James and to Ed and to JJ and I was this idea, their conception was really, as I said, not year one, but week two, and it was very early in this trajectory of who he was, and it was really important, I remember Bruce saying in his pitch, that Bruce is really the mask. Batman is not the mask in this version, and the idea that he, in the beginning, has a hard time really relating to people at all, and he has this relationship with Alfred where he calls him Pennyworth, and he's very, very distant, and over the course, he'll start to soften, he'll start to humanize, as he figures out how to navigate the city and as he starts to see who he can trust and who he can't. But really he looks at sort of everybody that he encounters in two ways, either someone he can use to fight crime in some way or someone who has to fight. And so it's a very kind of visceral and dark take that I think was very exciting to Bruce.
And there seems to be also a vibe of like you said, like he's just new at this, and it seems like he is putting like his ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Of figuring out like when Montoya enters the picture and he's like, could she be an asset or yeah?
Yeah, he's trying to figure it all out, and he takes his licks. I mean, he definitely gets hit as much as he.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so for the actors, how was the collaboration with you? You obviously probably worked with a voice director. How was it? Because you guys record alone, you sometimes don't know what you're working opposite. How was that, and how long did it take to record these roles?
Well, it didn't take an enormous amount of time, but it was very specific, and I did have, gosh, she might kill me. My mother-in-law was the place that I started with the voice.
Oh, no.
But because she has this incredibly idiosyncratic way of speaking that is very particular, and I really enjoy the way that she talks. And there was something so brilliant to, you're always just offering up ideas to your director. You're always just going, hey, what about this? And they'll either go, no, it's terrible, what about this? And that's this great collaboration, and I love bringing this strange voice to Bruce and saying, what about this? And it's a kind of toned down version. It is slightly different, but it's fun discovering stuff. It's fun only having your voice to really work with. You can't rely on being 5'10" or having curly hair or a nice smile. It's all your voice, which in a way makes it a lot harder. So I loved it. I really loved it. It was hard, and I liked it.
What about you guys?
I was incredibly intimidated going into the booth for the first time. Big boots to step into, and then everybody on the other side of the Zoom made it so easy. I thought, do I have to give the money back? No. It was just so freaking fun.
I got zero direction before going into the booth, and I really thought that I was going to get fired. But you take big swings. You do all the homework, and you come loose and ready to play, and you give them options, and
Right.
they'll lead you in the right direction.
Had you guys been told of the visual style that the show was going to have, and did that help inform what those characters would possibly sound like?
Well, knowing who was behind the creative team behind it, obviously Bruce and the original Batman animated series, you have a lot of material to kind of get inspired by, but he quite literally was very specific about reimagining the origins of all of these stories.
And for all three of you, the Batman story is always of duality.
Mm-hmm.
So, and all of you have to play two different versions of these characters. Which one did you enjoy more?
I liked Harley Quinn, but they're like psychological warfare. Like it's like my fucking toddlers, It was really nice to be on the other end of that, to kind of give it to people instead of always taking it. So.
Me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know, like, she kills her child. I'm not sure I can side with the penguin on this one. Like, I'd rather be singing jazz on a ship that's also a casino. Like, if truth be told. However, it's really the duality that is fantastic, that you actually get to be both, and what is the shadow and what is real. And that's what the show explores so brilliantly, what Bruce / Batman is exploring. So, I loved it. You can't make me choose.
All right. Hamish?
I like them both. They're both good. They're both good parts. It's so fun because we go through, when we tape it, I'll do all the Batman stuff first, and then we'll go back and do the, we do the Batman first, then I go back and do the Bruce Wayne,
Wait, because it's more vocally challenging to be Batman, and you kind of give, and then you can...
This is the problem with doing a panel, is when another panelist asks you what you just said, and you were hoping to get away with it. I actually don't remember which one I do first and which one I do second. I know that, there's probably a little bit more variety to what Bruce might say, and how he might say it, and then Batman, sometimes you hurt your voice because you're fighting so much, and intimidating. So, that was going to be such a short answer.
Well, wait, so actually we had a panel last night for another DC Comics animated series, and they talked about the fighting, recording the fight sounds. Do you do them all in a batch of all the different fight sounds? Like the ooh,
Yeah, actually that was, it's true, we did the whole first season, and I hadn't seen a single...
When him and James and Ed, I mean, Ed sort of, when Ed came in, they really wanted to lean into that kind of pulpy noir, and so obviously with Gotham Central, the kind of stuff that Ed is sort of really known for, their collaboration was really, really great. And then they came in story by story and said, this is really what we want to do, and we would just, JJ and I would read them and talk amongst them. It was very much, again, very much from Bruce's vision, and I would say it was very clear from the beginning, and the process as it went along was a lot of just sharing stuff and us reacting and going like, God, I can't wait to see that show.
Yeah, very cool. So it's Batman's 85th anniversary this year. So for all of you, what is your go-to Batman content? What is it? Is it? I know you were a huge animated.
Yes.
Yeah. What? And you obviously, you're just like.
I don't like Batman.
No. You clearly like penguins, though.
Yes. Very true.
So yeah. So what was your the kind of Batman touchstone?
Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman. That whip, honey, and then just jump rope, and I was like, what a baddie.
We had the the 60s TV show in the UK, and I loved it so hard, and I was always confused by Robin. Like, I was confused by him, but also glad he was there, but I've also kind of felt like was I supposed to have a crush on him, or was I willing for him and Batman to be together? I never knew.
I feel like Robin was a lot of people's.
He was my first crush, but he was also I feel like my first gay crush as well.
Same. Okay, Mitch, what about you?
I love the series, the animated series. I love the Tim Burton, and especially the second one when I don't know who that writer was who did the pass. I think it was Clifford Odets, but it's like, you little minx, I have you spayed, and you're like, what? You get to say that in a blockbuster? Cool. And then just the comic books, Just the comic books under my mattress. Thanks.
Nice. All right. And yeah, Matt, you.
Well, no, I mean, I was born in 1966, so I mean, of course, Adam West was Batman, but yeah.
All right, well listen, I want to congratulate all four of you. The show is fantastic, it's gorgeous, and it's actually like absorbing. The storytelling is so deep, something I'm not used to anymore. So this is a triumph as far as I'm concerned. So everyone, don't forget, August 1st, on Prime Video, all episodes available. Let's give it up for Batman King Crusader.
If you like cartoons, movies, books, music, I demand you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, be prepared. Subscribe or be prepared for doom. Do not resist. Do not resist. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.